What's going on, guys? My gamer tag in this game is Cattle Prod, as you can see in the upper left hand corner, and today in Fractured Space I'm looking at this ship, the Zarek Venturer. But before we get started on that, I just want to talk about this game for a little bit because it's been quite a while since I've covered Fractured Space. The game is now free to play. It is in open beta, or it might be in full release right now. I'm not entirely sure. The last time I covered this game, it was in closed alpha, and there's been a bunch of changes since then, most noticeable of which is the hangar. No longer are you just floating in space trying to look at your ship in the blackness of the void. You are now attached via a docking bay to this beautiful space station that you fight over in the game. You can see that the planet in the background. You can see just above the ship there the makeout of a huge city down there on the surface. There's asteroids floating around. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I'm running the game in low and medium graphical settings right now. I get about 30 frames per second, 29 down to about 19 in some worst case scenarios situations. But the game looks gorgeous. I'm having a lot of fun playing it. They are putting out patches almost every week to fix a couple bugs and things like that, which you have to expect with games like this. So yeah, not a whole lot of complaints here. I'm loving Fractured Space. I'm not one of those fuckers that likes to bitch on the internet about little trivial things that don't really matter. For what it is, this game is absolutely gorgeous. So to start off this rebirth of the series, we're going to look at this ship right here, the Zarek Venturer. When you first fire up your game, you get 3 ships. As you can see on the left-hand side there, you get the Zarek Venturer, you get the TDS Sentinel, which is a really nice support ship, and you get the USR Pioneer, which is a really nice like attack frigate kind of ship, really cool. The shipyard has been drastically expanded. This is USR right now. You see the extensive line of ships that the USR has. Zarek has a number of ships as well as Titan Defense Systems. They have a ton of ships. A lot of ships are in this game, but we're going to skip all of them because we want to talk about this ship to start. This is the Zarek Venturer. I've been having a lot of fun playing this ship. This is probably my favorite of the 3 starter ships. This ship in particular used to be a mining ship before they converted it for combat use. Its 2 primary weapons are a mining laser and a stone cutter. Essentially, the stone cutter was used to blast chunks of asteroids off of the main body, and then the mining laser would melt the asteroids to allow the mining ship to scoop it up. In combat, it works the same way. The stone cutter punches through the enemy armor, and then you damage the interior of the ship with the mining lasers. It's very good for up close and personal combat. Once you start to back off on range, that's when your DPS starts to drop. There's a number of things you can upgrade your ship with. It also comes with a heal defend pulse, which, depending on which variation you equipped, I have the stock version, which will heal 20% of your maximum HP. It will damage missiles and small attack craft within the pulse, and it will regenerate 39% of your armor. It has a cooldown of 1 minute and 5 seconds. Very versatile, very handy in tricky situations. The mining laser, I went ahead and upgraded to the heavy mining laser. It has a range of 10,000 meters, which is, not too bad. Has a reload time of 4.25 seconds, which is a little long, but for 34 damage per pulse, and the laser does fire in kind of like a pulse sort of way. You'll see in the replay coming up. Pretty nice. Whereas the 3.5 second regular mining laser does only 20 ppd. So I figured wait 2 more seconds and get, what is that? Almost 14 more damage out of each pulse. It's worth it. The Stonecracker, I just kept the basic Stonecracker on there. It deals 5,000 damage to the armor that you hit. And these other 2, it's a Ripple, which gives you a volley of 5, doing 400 damage per volley, which, you do simple math, 400 times 5, that doesn't add up to as much as that. And then same with that, you get 10, so that gives you about 4,000 damage done there. So yeah, I don't really see the point in upgrading. It also comes equipped with missiles, just basic Falcon missiles. You volley of 8, they do 40 damage for 3 seconds, and it's stackable up to 8 times, so I don't know what the hell that means, but they do a lot of damage. And the ship also comes with a shielding buoy, You drop it and it shields you. It's pretty simple as that. Gives you a 33% damage resistance, which is really nice. I went for the upgraded one, which just gives the buoy more health. Why not? So that's pretty much it. That for the Zarek Venturer on paper. It's a really tough ship. It's it's hull strength of 9,000. Whereas you want to compare that to this attack ship, Pioneer, hull strength 9,000. Sentinel, hull strength 9,000. Not too bad for your starting lineup ships. It's pretty standard. You look at actually it's pretty nice. You look at other ships like the Reaper. That's an attack ship. Its hull strength is 10,000. The Paladin is a hull strength of 6,000. 5,000 for this Equalizer. It's a light support ship. So it has a pretty good amount of hit points. Decent amount of armor. It isn't very fast, but it doesn't really need to be. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to some gameplay. So to start off this replay, you can see the battle's been going on for a little period of time already. The enemy has taken most of beta, and I've managed to work my way through alpha with most of the team as we're working our way up here at capturing points and working our way towards the enemy base. If you're not familiar with the game, this is your first video watching Fractured Space. I'll break it down real quick. You have to capture the points along alpha or beta to work your way towards the enemy base. You can see this in the map in the bottom right hand corner. And by playing with most of the people I played with so far in Fractured Space, that concept seems completely alien to most of them. But everyone in beta somehow has managed to die, and we've come across our first enemy contact here. It is a destroyer, which is a medium to long range heavy ship. It has a formidable amount of armor and hit points on it, but it's outnumbered. Looks like did he take out one of my teammates? I'm not sure. But he's outnumbered here. 2 of us against 1. Doesn't look like, 3 of us against 1. Doesn't look like he's focusing most of his firepower on me, which allows me to close the gap here very quickly. You'll see the damage start to rack up the closer I get to him. And before you know it, I get my first kill, backing up my friendly destroyer and friendly sentinel there. As we're now reaching the enemy base, there's another enemy ship off to my starboard side somewhere. Or is that port? I'm not sure. Either way, he's to the rear right now. That is the Sentinel. That's a support ship that has homing lasers and rockets and a couple of maneuverability buffing things. Launching a full pack of missiles on them there as we get enemy ships jumping in. You see them, or you hear the missile warning alarm going off, but it's too many ships close together. Not a single one of those missiles gets through. I am taking fire, but we have captured the enemy base, which now gives us a clear jump route to the enemy base. Logic dictates at this point to go jump to the enemy base. The enemy is capturing our base in beta. However, there is 4 of us in alpha, 1 of them in beta. And if you look at the map, we have a friendly ship that's back at our base. Again, logic dictates, jump to the enemy base, take the enemy base, we win. As I'm dealing with this destroyer again, as he's dealing with my teammate, I'm able to put firepower into his flank here pretty much without him even noticing me. I just hit him with the Stonecracker, which drops his armor on whatever side of the ship I hit it on, and you can see the massive amounts of damage I'm able to do because of that. Scoring kill number, I think that's 2, maybe 3 now. My teammates jump back to my base, successfully defending it from the one enemy ship, and these 2 motherfuckers, instead of jumping to the enemy base, decide to jump back to our base for no discernible reason, leaving me all alone to attack the enemy base. I don't realize this, of course. I'm too busy fixated on the objective, and that is kill, kill, kill. And it's around this point that I notice I'm all alone. There's 2 enemy ships and an enemy starbase. Not a whole lot I can do. My jumping ability, once you activate your jump engines, you take double damage. So if I were to activate my jump engines to try to get out of here, I'd pretty much die in a matter of seconds. So my only option left is to just do as much damage as I can before I die. Which this ship is capable of doing. This ship can easily hold its own against 1, maybe even 2 enemy ships depending on its class, but against 3 and a starbase? Nah, not so much. respawn a short while later and decide to move over to Beta to back up my only teammate that's over there, while the rest of my team captures the Gamma fuel refinery complex in the center of the map.
Jump complete. System show no problems.
Well, that's good.
Me out.
Doesn't appear to be any enemy contact in Beta, which is good. It gives us a clear path to move up through this asteroid field, capture the enemy base, and give us a clear shot at the enemy home base. Most of my team is still fighting in Gamma as we now slowly capture the enemy base, and me and this dude are poised to jump into the enemy base here.
Enemy jump routes unlocked. Attack now.
By now I noticed that the enemy team are a ship down. They have a ship that is disconnected and it is now 5-on-4, which is kind of uneven odds, but you know, whatever. I take my victories where I can get them. At this point here, I decide I'm going to jump to the enemy base because I see that that guy down there was jumping. What I failed to notice was that he jumped to Gamma, which was already captured by my team, and is not going to be available for recapture again for another 4 minutes, meaning once again I have jumped to the enemy base by myself. Luckily, a teammate has backed me up, and another teammate has jumped back to our home base for no discernible reason. It is now 2-on-1. There is an enemy ship here that we can see unless there's one hidden somewhere. So I'm going to move into the cap zone here and start dishing out damage on these solar panels, which power the gun turrets around the perimeter of the starbase. It is now 3 enemy ships. The enemy have by now been made aware that we are in their base and they're all jumping home to defend it. It's going to be 2-on-3. I do not like those odds, but we are capturing the base. We're at 15% capture right now. And as we get a little bit of a ping or a lag spike there, I'm now unloading on this Pioneer as it moves well within my range, hitting him with the Stonecracker as his Sentinel dishes out damage to him as well. Easy shots on his flank here as I'm kind of hiding myself below the starbase here, trying not to make myself much of a target as I'm trying to finish this guy off. Missiles being launched from the Pioneer again. I've activated my point defense. Not a single one of those missiles is going to be able to get through as I successfully take down that Pioneer. But there's a Sentinel behind me on full health, and there's another ship off to my left somewhere. Missiles coming in again, activating my point defense. That's another Pioneer. These are now completely uneven odds. I'm sailing back into the firing arc with another set of turrets. Switching my fire to try and do as much damage to that as I can. We've captured 26% of the enemy base, which is pretty good. Moving now underneath the fire base, trying to hide from the enemy as I get another ping spike. And stupid move here. I pretty much sailed out into the field of fire of every single gun turret on the enemy base as I'm being attacked by that enemy Venturer. Deploying a shield buoy is not going to be able to do much to help me. As yet again I go down, but I go down without a fight, I go down with a good fight, doing a good bit of damage to the enemy. In the process, as I type down there in chat, why the hell are you guys in Alpha? Beta was completely clear. The enemy the Allies had a clear shot all the way up through Beta to get to the enemy base, but instead, for some undiscernible reason, they decided to jump up through Alpha and take every single point in Alpha along the way. One of my teammates is mentioning that they're taking away their ability to upgrade. And I'm like, it's a 5-on-3 fight. It doesn't matter at this point. But hey, the game is still early. People are still trying to figure out how to win. I jump back into Beta with a teammate as my teammates fight the enemy in Alpha. We once again hit the enemy base through Beta. And the Venturer is poised to do more damage on the enemy base. This is a really fun ship to play. It's really forgiving to new players. It gives you a good bit of armor and some decent firepower. I realized just now that I pretty much neglected to talk about this ship the whole way through this video. But the action's been pretty fast and furious, which is something that's pretty common in Fractured Space. You don't have a whole lot of time of sitting around on your ass. You're all over the place all the time. Gamma has now become capturable again, and my teammates have jumped to Gamma and are capturing that instead of trying to focus their fire on the enemy base, but that's okay. I'm doing a pretty good job on my own. I'm pretty sure I did see an enemy ship jump in or respawn or something, but he's not popping up on my map. There he is. No, that's a detection buoy. There he is. Movie tube. I've killed that guy I think 3 or 4 times so far during this battle. Launching my missiles, and once those missiles hit the enemy, they will deal plasma damage, which is again hitting another lag spike. They will do plasma damage, which affects the enemy engines, and it appears that he is AFK.
New signal. Enemy ship.
I should be switching my firepower to these turret generators, but hey, a kill is a kill. Backing up here, I'm trying to get myself out of the firing arc of that other enemy ship I just saw spawning in. As my teammates now are hitting the enemy base, more enemy ships are respawning in. Oh man, dropping my point defense at the last minute there, managing to save my ass as I kill Movie Tube yet again. It is now 3 allies on 2 enemies. This is pretty much game over for them, as wow, missing completely with all my shots there. 90%, and this is going to be game over.
Victory's ours.
Pretty good match in my Venturer. I hope that this gave you a sense of what it's like to play this ship. You just got to move in there and keep the firepower going. Hit them with the stone cutter and just blaze away with those mining lasers. The plasma missiles, if those things hit, they will help you out. They'll slow down the enemy. And not to mention, you have your shielding buoy and your recharge pulse. A lot of good tools in this thing's tool chest that will secure victory for you and your team. This is a really cool thing they've added to the game as well. I think it's 2, 4, and 8 games. Once you complete them, you don't have to win them. You get a random reward. Of course, for 2 games, the reward isn't that great. For 4, it's a little bit better, and 8, it's a pretty decent reward. Let's see what I got. DNA! Yay! It's useless right now. You use DNA, like I said earlier, to grow commanders, but pretty much useless at this stage in the game. Not a bad result for the victory. I got 6 kills, 2 deaths, 1854 XP, and 20,000 credits. Pretty good result. I hope you guys liked the video. Give it a like down below if you liked it. Comment if you got a comment or a question for me. And as always, take care.